I asked about 40 people of all age groups have they ever played the game Key to the Kingdom. To my surprise, 38 of them have said they have never heard of the game, and only 2 have heard of it but never played it. It says on the box it's a whirlpool of fun, fantasy, and adventure. Okay, so Key to the Kingdom never caught on like Monopoly, Clue, Battleship, etc. But nevertheless, it's one of my favorite board games. The object of the game is simple. You're trapped in the kingdom full of monsters, hazards, etc., and you need to find the key to the kingdom to escape. So you'll come across monsters, hazards, traps, etc. at every corner. Luckily though, you'll have your equipment to help you overcome them. So to get the key to the kingdom, you need to go to palaces, temples, castles, and defeat one of the monsters there in order to get the treasure. So the treasures come in these pouches that you randomly shuffle one of the treasure cards into. You get the treasure if you defeat the monster at the place you claimed it at. So there's only one key and 5 other treasures to collect, so you never know which one contains the key. You'll have to hunt for all of them until you or another player finds the key. Before you can actually leave the kingdom, you need to find the key and one other piece of treasure. You may get stuck with the curse card, aka the Cobra card. This doesn't count as a treasure and you won't be able to leave the kingdom until you return to the snake pit and get rid of the card. There are other ways to get treasure besides going to the castles, palaces, etc. You can steal someone's treasure if you land exactly on his or her space. On your path, you'll eventually come across these white daggers. Before you can go any farther, you need to look up the hazard in the hazard handbook to see how you can overcome it. Some of them are easy and others are difficult, like the bone pit. If you fail at any of these hazards, you usually get stuck or have to lose one of your equipment cards. So when you finally get to one of the castles or temples, you draw one of the monster cards and read how to defeat them. Most of them just involve rolling the die a number of times to get a certain number. Then there are some like the Voodoo Spectre that you can't defeat. Most of the time if you lose against a monster, you either roll the die and move away, or you get trapped in the dungeon. If you are stuck in the dungeon, you have 3 turns to roll a 1 or 8 on the die. If you fail, you lose 1 piece of your equipment. So you can tell there are a lot of dangers that await you, but we'll talk about one more. The Demon King. Every time someone rolls the die before he or she can move, you have to move the Demon King to the spot on the board that matches the number on the die. So if you're on either side of the space he lands on, or you take a path that directly intersects with the Demon King, you're sent directly to the nearest dungeon. Some of the white daggers are unique, like this one. This one you get to build a bridge across using these black pieces. The map starts off pretty small, but if you or another player jumps into these whirlpools, the game folds out or folds in, depending on what side of the map you're on. As you can see, the map is pretty standard for a board game, but when you have both sides folded out, it becomes huge. I mean, look, it's longer than my coffee table. So as soon as someone jumps into the whirlpools, the other players, depending on which side of the map they're on, have 3 chances to get to the other side of the board for safety, or just jump in also. If they happen to get stuck in the transition, they get stuck in the whirlpools. They can get out by rolling a 1 or an 8 in 3 turns, but if they fail, they lose any treasure they have collected. So the other players that made it in on time, they could just resume playing. So you'd probably be pretty upset if you lost all your treasures. But luckily though, you can go to the Wizard of Plenty or the Ring of Stones and recollect any treasure you've lost. Also, you can get a Deep Magic card at the Ring of Stones. That will prevent a player from using the whirlpools once. As soon as someone has the key to the kingdom and another treasure, they want to make it back to the beginning to escape. When they make it back, everyone else has 3 rolls to try and make it back to the beginning, otherwise they'll be trapped in the kingdom forever. It doesn't really make any difference whether you make it out or not. The game has already been won, so most of the time we usually don't play the last step because it doesn't make a difference if you make it out or not. So the game might look complex and complicated, but it's actually quite simple. It's a very interesting game, not to mention fun to sit down and play with a big group of people. It's mostly based on luck, but it does involve some strategy. It also has the potential to be a short game or a very long game, just depending on the circumstances. I would say go out and buy this game at Walmart or something, but anywhere you go, I can guarantee they won't have this game. You'll just probably have to buy it online, probably eBay or something. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it gives you a little bit more insight of a game from the early 90s. Thank you for watching, and tune into my other projects and videos.